यूज नहीं करना है।
Where are your friends? Have not returned yet.
We like to take the break till 7:45.
7:45. Yes. Let's wait for them to come back, then we'll discuss. Hannah? You will give no all the answers? You will give no all the answers?
I'll give the
What is questions?
one question.
You will give only one question? Why?
So others will be.
Others will give the other answer. So today is your first day? Otherwise, you where is your school exactly? The bridge, yeah. Once you cross the bridge? Okay. Near the station? Oh.
Now for the second question, what tells you about the appearance of the photographer? Shouldn't the question be what will be the appearance of the photographer tell you? I didn't understand the second question.
Okay. Let's do question first one. Why do you think the photographer did not look at the narrator with enthusiasm? Okay.
The narrator's face was quite wrong and not artistically pleasing to look at.
As per the photographer.
As per the photographer. That's right. So as per the photographer, the narrator's face was not attractive enough to be photographed. According to photographer, the narrator's face was not attractive or pleasing enough.
I would have wondered the same thing.
Okay.
And
What tells you about the appearance of the photographer?
so I found another point for that. The first one. But ma'am, at the starting, the narrator has also mentioned that he was a DMI, he had a DMI of a natural scientist. He was very ungraceful. So narrator himself says that all the photographers look the same and are boring.
Yeah.
That can also be added.
For the appearance, you have to add
My
that.
first point. Enthusiasm, because he only says all of them look dull.
No. See, here the photographer was giving him attitude actually. Was looking down on him. He did not look at him with enthusiasm. Why? The reason being, he did not find him had it been some nice looking man, or according to him, had he looked handsome, or some good looking person, then probably he would have thought, what a model, I've got such a great model to click a picture. I really admire you have school, and your school allows you to have this long hair. They don't care whether you have hair, but you don't care. But just in the morning, they sent this child home because his hair was too long.
Sometimes they get sometimes.
So you wait till they get. So, okay. So, because the photographer, according to the photographer, the narrator's face was not. You wrote the answer? Or should we discuss and you will write on your own?
Yes.
What tells you about the appearance of the photographer? What tells you about the appearance? How was the appearance of the photographer?
He was a looking man in a gray suit and he was
First, he lacked enthusiasm. The photographer lacked enthusiasm. Then he had droopy eyes.
he had the demaya for natural scientist and he was in a gray suit.
Yes, and wore a grey suit. What do you think of the studio where the photograph was taken?
The studio was dimly lit, it was not furnished.
Yes, it was dimly lit. It was not furnished
And it
well,
was compact.
and
Yeah.
and it had cotton curtains hung. Yeah. What have you written?
Along the frosted skyline. That point.
Yeah, the cotton.
Is it fabric or
The student kind of photograph was taken, a beam of light filtered through a curtain hung against a frosted skylight where the director was sitting in the studio for the photograph. The photographer told the question
Very good.
How the frosted skyline and all of that is not written
The studio was dimly lit. You just write that. The studio was dimly lit with a beam of sunlight entering it. There were also cotton curtains hung
Through which sunlight.
through which filtered the light inside the studio.
Frosted skylight.
Frosted, you get those frosted, what do you say? Oh,
all the windows.
windows. The windows were frosted.
Condensation.
So all those thick
Yeah.
windows you have, no? So that was up on frosted.
That allows
windows.
little light.
Little light to enter. What was thought to be the problem with the face of the narrator? What was the problem with the face of the narrator?
His face was wrong according to the photographer.
Yes. And it would have looked better.
It was very thin.
Yes. It would
His
have.
ears were not right according to the photographer. His eyes were not right.
And his face would have looked better if it was
Three quarters.
3/4 full. Had it been 3/4 full. But what he said is right. You have something more to add?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, according to the photographer, his face would have looked good if he would have drooped the ears a little bit. He would have rolled the eyes close to
No,
the head.
that's what he asked him to do. But what was thought to be the problem with the face of the narrator?
Ma'am, the ears were in a bad position. That
He
was
did not think the face was right, and he thought there was problem with his eyes and various other features. So don't get into that detail. And he thought that his face would look better if it was 3/4 full.
What did he say about it? I see that.
now he
He was just saying, according to him, His various features, his speech, such as eyes and ears, were not correct. The man had such human side to him. What does the narrator wish to convey about the?
The narrator means this in a sarcastic way as he comments on the narrator's face.
So he wishes to convey that the photographer was actually inhuman and rude to pass such personal comments about his face, such unjust comments about his face. He felt insulted when the photographer said that his face was quite wrong. Okay, so the answer would be the narrator wishes to convey that the photographer was in fact inhuman and cruel, inhuman and rude, was inhuman and rude to pass such comments on the narrator's face. The narrator felt insulted when the photographer called his face quite wrong. You need to write the answers. You write in points will not remain. Answers will remain. I don't mind if you write the points also, but the answers should be there. If you don't want, don't write the long sentences, but
I'll written them in rough. I'll later frame them properly and show it to you.
do everything now. Do everything now. I'm giving you 5 minutes. Do everything now. You wrote the answers? Next time we'll do some next chapter, next poem. Write. If you don't write, you will not remember. Will you write the answer?
I will pencil it.
You don't seem to be in the habit of writing answers. In school, you don't write answers? No?
Yes. I wrote the write of the workbooks.
You have to carry a workbook, no? So we discuss most of the questions. Do you have your workbook today? Do carry your workbook if you have at home. So you have good. So that towards, I'll give you some more questions. Write it in points, like why do you think photographer did not look at the narrator with enthusiasm? So what will you write here? He did not.
He was least interested in his face.
He did not find him. He did not find him artistically pleasant and attractive.
Some chapter.
Artistically pleasant and attractive enough to get picture. Did not find artistically pleased.
One of the 4 codes was the person should be artistic and basic.
What?
4 like this was second.
Yeah, you can say that. Artistically pleasing and attractive. See, these keywords are very, very important in ICSE during paper correction. So therefore, I'm telling you, if not whole sentence, keywords, write all those points. You must remember those points should be there in the answer. So when you write about the appearance of the photographer, you can say he lacked enthusiasm. Then he was
In a grey suit.
droopy man in a grey suit.
with the DMI of natural science.
The demand of
Natural science. these are 3 marks.
Yeah, like see, this would be for 3 marks. So who is the done 1. This is also 1. This they sometimes include this also in this. Then
हमारे क्वेश्चन को done
you want to make it.
No.
तो उससे भी होता है
Actually, this हो गया है.
ये 2 है ना, कम कर रहे हो उसको भी. और एक देखो.
बस इसके लिए वैसे स्टेज
हाँ, ठीक है.
4 marks है.
मुझे दे पड़
एकदम हार्ड वाला. 4 marks. So the last one is for how many marks?
Yeah, so this can go for justify your answer, no? So that will be over.
First half will be for a yes or a no.
Yes. 1 mark for yes or no, or half mark for yes or no, and then you explain. So you here what you do is you explain what the photographer's viewpoint is, what the narrator's viewpoint is, and then justify why narrator's if whatever whose viewpoint you
You
agree
think is better.
So first one, should we discuss the answers?
Yes.
Or should I wait? Should we discuss the answers? Then you write. No? The first one. Stop, I said with emotion. This face is my face. Who is the speaker here?
The narrator.
The narrator is the speaker. And who is he talking to? The photographer. What is the occasion?
Yes.
Take a photograph of his friends and family.
Okay, he has gone to the studio to take a photograph for his, to share with his friends and family. And
But the photographer is pointing out
the faults and insulting him, pointing out the faults in his face. And as a result, the narrator felt insulted and agitated. Okay. So the narrator felt insulted, agitated, and that's when he said, "Stop! This face is my face." So remember those words. He felt insulted and he was agitated. You get angry, irritated. Sorry. Would you justify the narrator's viewpoint or the photographer's? Why? And why? Sorry, you want to say something? What is the tone of the speaker? Agitated, frustrated, yes. Frustrated and angry, frustrated and angry. Hurt and angry is also right, no? What were you saying?
About the photographer as a scientist.
So
It won't be the tone exactly, but to justify the adjective statement.
better could be you stick to hurt and angry or frustrated and angry. What made the photographer feel proud of?
From the editing he did on the
The
photograph.
photographer was feeling proud of
His art.
of his art.
Of editing.
Then you write see here the biggest mistake most of the children do is they write long sentences. So break that habit. Write short sentences. So the photographer felt proud of his art. Then write what he had done. He had changed the narrator's photograph. He had he had done a touch up for his eyes, removed his eyebrows.
No, he was suggesting to remove.
No, he had removed it. He said, no, I suggested to remove his ears and was also ready to change his mouth and was also ready to change his ears. And he was proud of his expertise, art and expertise. So once you write art, next time you write expertise. Should I go to the next question? Both the photographer and narrator looked at the photo in silence. Why do you think both were silent?
The narrator was silent because he was unable to figure out whether it was him in the photo or was it someone else. And the photographer was silent because he was proud of the photo and wanted the narrator
To praise him.
give the first,
to
first
praise
praise,
him, yeah.
to start the thing.
So the photographer was proud of his work and therefore he was quiet, while narrator was shocked to see the picture as it did not look like him at all.
So writing long answers did not impress the character.
No, it's not writing long answers. It is writing long sentences. I said. So you people have the habit of What made the photographer feel proud? The photographer felt
And,
proud of and so ing लगा के उसको बड़ा करके the sentence goes on and on in 3 lines. So don't do that.
Yeah.
So you need to remember the teacher will be correcting some 200 odd papers. Okay. So she wants quick answers. उसके दिमाग में answers fix है. Okay. So she wants ये उसको she knows the points that she has to look for these points. You give her these points and you write short sentences. Easy. You understand what I'm saying? It's a myth that you need to write a lot of flowery language on writing our question answers. No. In question answers, write to the point, write the correct answers. To the point. Read. Which question have you written? What made the photographer feel proud of?
The photographer felt proud of the photograph as he had snapped the photograph at the right time, capturing all the features of him. He developed the photograph using his artistic skills to retouch everything to the point where the photograph didn't resemble anything like the narrator, and therefore he was angry.
The narrator was angry. The question is what? What made the photographer feel proud of?
Mama explained that also. Like he felt proud as he captured the image at the right time, and he uses artistic skills to retouch everything.
Yes.
And at last I added, it didn't resemble anything like him, and he was angry.
Who did it make angry?
The narrator.
Yeah, but the question is what made the photographer feel proud?
Explain that in the first 4 lines.
So,
But confusion sentence was.
see, this answer is a little confusing. तुम question का core समझो. What is the core of this question? Photographer is proud. अभी narrator को क्यों अच्छा नहीं लगा वो बीच में मत लेके आना. Okay, so you understand what the question is and justify what the photographer is proud of. So photographer is proud of his art, photographer is proud of his skill, photographer is proud of his expertise. How do you know? He has changed everything using the various techniques and latest techniques of that sulfide and whatever it is. So don't go on the narrator. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay? See, you people write as a such brilliant answers and my teacher doesn't understand. She doesn't give us marks. So by diverting, but the narrator did not like it. अभी ये narrator का question है ही.
I wrote it didn't resemble anything like the narrator. This made it feel proud.
Okay. Though this did not resemble, he was proud of his expertise, expert skills or knowledge. Though it did not resemble.
The question that has the correct answer.
Question 10th one.
Because the child might go for narrator.
Yes. Now you have to clearly justify your stuff. This is like a personal response. But I'm telling you. The response will go with the writer's response.
Right.
Okay? Ideally, the teachers are told that accept the child's response because it is a personal response. So, when it is a personal response question, there is no completely right and completely wrong answer. But will your teacher accept? So, okay. So actually the board says, so it depends, you don't know who's correcting your paper. Actually the board says, accept the child's viewpoint. But we don't know whether the one who's correcting your paper is that day will accept the viewpoint. What is her viewpoint? So go with the neutral viewpoint, that is the author's viewpoint. Yeah. Ninth one. You got this answer, no? Eighth one. Why both of them were silent?
Yeah.
Why were they both silent?
They were silent because the narrator couldn't identify himself.
So narrator was shocked. He was silent because he was shocked as he could not identify in the photograph. And the photographer was
was silent because to narrate for narrator talking good about it.
Okay, no, the photographer was silent because he was proud of his art and he was waiting for the narrator to praise him. Why does the narrator call the photograph a worthless bauble? I did not give her time to give the answer.
Because he had made many changes.
Now we don't know who you are saying he.
The photographer.
Why does the narrator call the photograph a worthless bauble?
The picture, the photograph, the worthless bauble.
Yes.
Yeah, the narrator calls the picture, the photograph, the worthless bauble because the photographer made many changes in his photograph, which made the picture look nothing like
narrator.
and
And therefore it was of no use to him, no value to him, and no use to him, and therefore he called it a worthless bauble.
Do we have to justify the answer both the words worthless and bauble? Maybe we can justify the word bauble by writing that bauble is a jewelry, right? So
No, bauble is something a thing of no use, which is a worthless thing basically.
So I thought bauble is jewelry.
Yeah, bauble is anything that you jewelry. Yeah, the jewelry that you have.
Do we write in the start the photographer had made many changes to it as his piece of art and
Yes.
did that, but at the end the narrator found it worthless given
Visible. Yes, at all, and therefore it was of no use to him. No use to him.
Him and his friends.
Yeah.
And his
Would you justify the narrator's viewpoint or the photographer's? Aryan? Narrators? Okay. Why?
Because there was no point of view.
There was
No point of view.
because narrator was being body shaped the entire story.
okay. What was the photographer's viewpoint? That the photograph should look beautiful. What was the narrator's viewpoint?
He wants photograph.
That
As he is.
he's perfect and the photograph should look like himself. Okay. So why would you justify what is that?
I think both are right, but the photographer was a bit rude in conveying the message. According
What would be your
I agree with the narrator.
you would justify the narrator's viewpoint? Why?
He's the one who was excited and sitting on the bridge.
What
I
is
would
his viewpoint?
justify the narrator's viewpoint.
Why?
Because at the starting of the poem,
The story.
at the starting of the story, the photographer made it clear that he was not interested in him, and while snapping his picture, the photographer was very rude towards him as he was constantly criticizing his face and was
First of all, why had the photographer narrator gone to click the picture?
No.
to share his photograph with his friends to reconcile
After his
his
reconcile after his death. That means it must look like him. The picture, the narrator wanted to click
but
the
after
picture.
constant criticizing the photograph turned out to look nothing like it.
Yeah, and it was therefore of no use to him. He could not could not give the picture photograph to his friends, and therefore the picture that did not look like him, he did not even take it. He asked the photographer to keep it with himself because he did not want a piece of art. He wanted a picture that looked like him. Will you be able to explain that? Aryan, now tell me.
And because narrator was insulted by the photographer, and the narrator wanted his photograph, not a piece of art made by the photographer.
Okay. अब ये तो दो लाइन्स हो गए. If it is a 4-mark answer, what would you write?
Remember, it is not about the slides, it's about content and keywords.
Let's start with the story kind.
Yes. So what will you write? The photographer went, the narrator went to the photographer. Yes.
To share with his friends,
Reconcile.
So after his death,
Hmm.
so when the narrator was the person of the mother getting the photo, the photographer started to point out his features and how it looked, his face is quite wrong.
Criticized his picture features. Yeah.
Then the narrator was, that my face is, this is my face, not yours, while criticizing, and then we just went and
Okay. So he did not. He wanted to stop being body shamed by the photographer. He wanted to. He wanted the photographer to stop body shaming him, and he believed in accepting himself as he was. Okay. So remember, stop body. Those words are there in the textbook. So yeah. Here, see this part. No, we live in an age of Photoshop.
The starting one.
Yeah. So the
So did you mention theme of insecurity?
yes. Remember these, you have to put these words also. So body shaming, he wanted to stop the narrator, wanted to stop the photographer from body shaming him. He wanted him to, he basically wanted him to accept himself the way he looked. So that acceptance, self-love, सब कुछ डाल देना इसमें. And to stop body shaming. You have the workbook. Just go through it, no? See if there are any questions which you would like to discuss the answers, something that we have not covered. What is it, Aryan?
And the photographer, I think the photographer was thinking that so the marketing was under
Maybe the photographer thought, what a piece of art I have created.
Was the theme given its appearance?
Yeah, theme, appearance versus reality is the theme of the story.
But security also given insecurity. Both of them.
Who was insecure?
Uh,
The narrator was not so insecure. He made him feel insecure about himself.
And how would you open on the 10th answer? Like,
How do you
like
justify?
if I will open a sentence like, I would justify or
I agree with the narrator's view.
Yes, I agree with the narrator's view.
I side with the narrative.
I'm for
Yeah, I'm for the narrator's view. Okay?
I'm against the photographer.
It's better you write straightforward. Huh?
unwarranted.
Unwarranted means something that is not asked for, not required. Are there any more questions that you would like to discuss?
Can we get a break of 10 minutes?
You want a break of 10 minutes? Serious. That's why I'm not asking you to write anything. You just discuss if there is anything that
MCQs you can discuss.
MCQs I just asked. No, it's the same thing. Give. Let me see if there is something. See. Okay, whom should I ask? You answer. Let me ask you. Your turn. Okay. Uh, what has the narrator always known? The photographer was unprofessional. His face was lean. His face was wrong. None of the above. None of the above. He always knew that his face was wrong. He says no. I always knew my face was wrong. Your turn. Uh,
You got issue.
For which of the okay, why did the narrator ask, is it mine? Is it me? The photo was beyond his expectation. The photo was no match to his real self. The photo was a true copy of his real self. None of the above. No match to his real self. What was the unwarranted thing done by the narrator? Breaking into the, what was the unwarranted thing done? Unwarranted was the unasked for, not required. Not required.
Done by the narrator.
Done by the narrator. Breaking into the private space of the photographer, breaking into his studio without permission, interrupting him during the shoot.
First option.
First option.
Breaking in scientific process.
What is referred to as the brutal work? The humiliating visit to the photo studio, the act of twisting and turning the narrator's head, the act of retouching his photo by the photographer.
The act of retouching the photo.
Is it? Where is this reference of brutal work? There is some.
Take my bag.
Where is that line brutal work? I can also check. Where is that word? Because back at the belt bhi there. Yeah. Okay.
By and then chapter one page number 124.
First line.
Go on then.
124.
144.
First line, sixth word.
Go on then with your brutal work. Acha.
Retouching and editing.
Yes. Good job. So, brutal work would be the act of retouching his photo by the photographer. तुम सुन भी रहे हो?
समाप्त तो मैंने
Give a character sketch of the narrator. What will you say?
The narrator was a very egoistic.
dignified person. Hey, narrator was a dignified person.
Okay.
He was self-aware, also self-conscious, because he said that
I was self-loving person.
Okay.
very self.
Self-accepting. The adjectives. If you go beyond these adjectives, in character sketch, what do you do?
Man of conviction.
Okay.
Is it?
If it is character sketch, then you say that the narrator had gone to the studio to get a picture done. Okay. Upon going there, he realized that the photographer kept, however, the photographer kept criticizing his physical his features and made the narrator feel insulted, uncomfortable, insulted. Okay? After a while, the narrator decided to object to the body shaping carried out by, I'm just giving you a point now, by the photographer. He stood up for himself and refused to
Take the
take the
photograph.
no, was about to leave the studio when the photographer clicked the picture. Then, when he took it out, when he went to take it out, to get the picture, he realized that the picture did not look at all or resemble at all with him, as there was lot of editing and retouching done. He refused to take the picture. He was a man with conviction. Then he started adjectives used. Okay, then you lose all these adjectives.
Actually, what is the meaning of man of conviction?
Man of conviction is the one who believes in his own work, or the one who believes has strong belief and he believes in has great faith in his own beliefs.
So Brutus is also a man of conviction.
Brutus, yes.
Yeah, because I think that in an answer, that's correct.
Yes, Brutus was a man of conviction. He truly believed that whatever he is doing is a right thing to do.
Exactly.
It was right.
It was a right thing to do. Yes. Taking into consideration the way Caesar was behaving. Yes.
He will soon turn into the dictator.
He would have turned a dictator had he not been killed. Yes. So somehow, but it did not go well for him.
Who is the protagonist of the?
Protagonist
Yeah.
in Julius Caesar. See, surprisingly, if you see that play,
Anyone is.
Julius Caesar is not a protagonist.
Yeah.
Protagonist is the main character. Right?
Julius is
Julius Caesar is not the main character.
I'm like, the main character is not referred to the how many dialogues there. It's like the center of the thing.
No, it is
Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar starts, the play starts, main play starts after Julius Caesar gets killed.
No.
So,
Actually, ये बात तो सारा plot twist है.
लेकिन act one just start with
so Act 1, Act 2 is a small part.
Major
It's just a build up. Yeah. So Julius Caesar is the main, but the main hero here is Brutus and Antony.
Antony was also.
Mark Antony was the game. Yeah, he changes the whole scene and the game. It's more fun. Act 3, Act 4, Act 5. They are much more interesting.
I'm in act 6 of
कितना पढ़ाओगे ना?
तुझे क्या है? माफ है।
इधर 3 सीन तो पढ़ने हैं। उसके बाद Act 6 की चीज Act 15 Act पढ़ना है। But it is very interesting. It's very interesting. You will enjoy.
Very well read.
So next time, do bring treasure chest. And or you want to start with? I like to continue with. We'll do it when we have 3 hours period. I've told you last time. Also.
It is 3 hour period.
In the month of May, you will. No, in the month of May, you will have 3 hours.
No, man, 6 months.
English will be only of 3 hours. Only.
एक ही period में मतलब 6 घंटे
I mean, 8 period and a half hours. That's
Yeah, it is 1.5, 1.5. 1.5, then break, 1.5, then break. So 3 hours English. So that's it. We'll do Julius Caesar. Please bring treasure chest next time. Treasure chest and grammar. If we finish one poem in 1 hour, then the next hour we'll do grammar. Bye.